Holy crap. What the heck is going on with our weather, huh? No, for real though, we did actually finally get something over the last 2 days after that last video I posted. And it was shit. I mean, we basically got like a freezing, not even freezing, it was just like a stupid cold rain and no snow again. I mean, like, so down south near like the San Juans and stuff, and up in the high country, they got snow because obviously it was cold enough. But out here, nah. It got cold and we got some rain, but that was about it. It was nothing compared to what it should have been. And I guess that's primarily due to the fact that the weather system that was supposed to hit us ended up tracking kind of southeast from where it was normally supposed to. And yeah, we got nothing as a result. Supposedly there's another one inbound here over the next, I don't know, 3 days or something, that's supposed to be substantially colder and actually give us substantially more moisture. And then that's going to be followed up by something that's supposed to put us into the 20s. So who knows? I don't even know anymore. It's funny though, because it sparked at least one comment, the only comment on my last video, from some rando that basically said, "What is the title of this video?" Okay, let's back up. About 3 days ago now, and I mentioned this in the last video, Hawaii got snow. I don't remember specifically which mountain it was, because they do have mountains out there, but the fact that a tropical island in the middle of the Pacific got snow that's borderline in the 60s at its lowest, usually, for temperatures. Maybe it gets down to 50. I don't know. I don't live there. I'm not an expert. But still, a tropical island in the middle of the freaking Pacific that's normally in the 80s and 90s during the summer got snow on one of its mountain ranges. That's noteworthy. And it was recognized in national news 3 days ago by several different outlets. Not just weather outlets, but national outlets. Worldwide recognition. And somehow, we still got someone to comment basically saying, "What is the title of this video?" Congratulations, dude. You have literally been recognized for being potentially an idiot. I don't know if your feed is just full of nothing but nonsense from TikTok and Instagram, or if you just listen to nothing but CNN and NBC and ABC, but you gotta branch out a little more, dude. I don't like ragging on other people, but you literally set yourself up for this one, man. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to do with my hands. Unbelievable. You know, it's one thing if you're gonna insult me for being an idiot. It's quite another when you literally just put your own foot in your mouth. We're actually in good temperatures today. It's like, I don't know, 60-ish. I'm actually wearing the leather today because it is a little chillier than it was on the last ride. The air temperature is definitely cooler, but the sun is out, and that means that the ground temperature doesn't totally suck. So that's a plus. But we are taking the bike over to Faye Myers because I got notified that this thing is due a recall that they didn't get a chance to perform before I took it away from them. I mean, it was there literally like maybe, I don't know, 6-7 hours from the point of which it was delivered for me to the point that I drove it home. So, yeah, they didn't get a whole lot of time. I know what that guy was trying to ask, but I'm on a bike and I'm substantially faster than your fucking Prius is, dude. Don't ask to get in front of me. especially if you're the idiot that doesn't know where he's going. It's one thing if you're merging and like trying to zipper in traffic. I'll usually let you go if you're polite about it, or if it is genuinely your turn. But don't be doing dumb shit like that. I don't know what the fuck you're asking me. Just because I'm on a bike doesn't necessarily that you're automatically just authorized to fucking cut me off because I'm smaller. That's ridiculous. So yeah, air temperature's down low. Ground temperature's okay. It's, you know, in the 55, 60 range, so it's like on the borderline for optimal for these Super Corsa SPs, which, you know, anything like that, you got to take advantage of it when it's in frickin' mid-November going into December, man. Take advantage of every opportunity. I mean, these guys know what's up. But yeah, we're going back for a recall for the tail light. So apparently on the new integrated tail light, there's something that could potentially go wrong with it. I don't know the specifics of like how the whole thing works. All I know is that it necessitates a function check through pads, and if it doesn't respond the way it's supposed to, then the parts have to be ordered for it, like replacement parts. So, you know, go figure. Brand new lighting system. You know, shit happens, I guess. Especially when you've got a European version and a US version that you have to delineate. I don't know as if the European version is having this problem. It sounds like it isn't. I watched the last video like twice after I posted it, and I kind of decided that I'm going to leave the mic alone for now. But I do have a sneaking suspicion I'm going to have to do another layer of felt to kind of cut down on the wind noise. I don't know. Something about what I was hearing just sounded very reminiscent of previous setups that didn't work well with highway speed or greater. So I don't know if that's a function of the fact that I have the felt reversed and I probably should have done it the opposite way, or if it's just not thick enough and I need a thicker piece, or just doubled up piece, so to speak. So I don't know, we'll figure that out. It's not really a priority at this point, but I am going to start messing with it a little more to try and dial it in. I think the audio in general is a little better than it was with the polystyrene that I had before under the Dead Cat. So nobody said anything negative or positive, so I'm just kind of guessing at this point. The fact that I'm getting regular views that are exceeding numbers of like, you know, 3 or 4 people tells me that I'm at least getting out of the basement, sort of, as a new channel. So that's a plus. I have these weird ideas that I kind of want to play in my head a little bit. You guys will have to let me know what you think. So I'm thinking, like, the first 100 subscribers, if we reach that point where, like, the first 100, I think I want to make something special just for you guys, kind of like a one-off, and then just send it out to you guys. Like, I'll legitimately set up like a Google Forms or something like that, and I'll set up a specific time range from when you guys can submit details, and then I'll just send you guys out, like, you know, this one-off thing. I need to come up with something still, but it's just an idea I had just to kind of as a thank you to the first 100. And then I'm going to keep that log of that first 100 going forward for like every time that we pass some major milestone. The first 100 is going to get recognized basically indefinitely. Yeah, once we get to like 100 people that are subscribed that actually reach out to me, you know, something like that. We'll figure it out. It may end up just being like, if that cutoff period happens and there's only like, I don't know, 25 of you or something, you guys are basically going to be like God tier for life. So we'll figure it out. Because like I said, I still haven't really figured out what I'm going to do that's special as like a thank you gift. But we'll figure it out. It'll be something fun. I have the capability of making things, so who knows? Maybe it'll be something fun, like a t-shirt or something. I don't know. Everybody loves t-shirts and stickers and things like that, right? We are officially on leave, which means that I have more time to focus on the channel and more time to focus on writing, at least for a short period of time anyway. God damn it. It's doing that thing where it doesn't want to go into neutral again. There we go. You guys will notice that I actually have a no shit logo now, or at least a first real logo rather than just a picture. I am not ashamed to admit that I had ChatGPT help me build that. And I gotta be honest, that was a bigger pain in the ass than I thought it'd be. So, as good as AI is getting these days, when it comes to designing images, and you're basically just giving it text input or visual references, it's kind of a pain. So, obviously the helmet's modeled after me, and, you know, there's an F-16 in the background with, you know, the Colorado Rockies, at least that's what it's supposed to look like. The bike is obviously supposed to look like this one. The problem was, every single time that I threw in new dimensions or specs or any kind of updates to try and make the bike look more true to life like this, it straight up just was like, well, here's your recommendations, here's what you wanted, what do you think? And it looked like an RSV4 that went through hell and back and was butchered by some, you know, graphics student. It just didn't look right. And the colors, honestly, the colors were a total nightmare to try and get matched up too. So I finally just settled on the design that's on there now. And I gotta be honest, it kind of looks like a cross between an RSV4 factory and some kind of futuristic MotoGP bike with lights and mirrors. I don't really know how to describe it, but it definitely has Aprilia RSV4 vibes to it. And the colors are definitely not what I wanted, but it looks good enough that I'm like, all right, whatever. Just leave it. There's only so much you can fix with AI. I would have done it myself, but I am no artist. I might still tweak it a little bit on my own time with my tablet, because I do have a Galaxy tablet with like the drawing pen and stuff, and I might just try to fix it. But honestly, it looks good enough now that I don't want to break it. I literally had like, I don't know, 8 different revisions, and that was the one that I picked that I felt looked the best. The rest of them, either the helmet was like too big, made me look like a bobblehead, or the jet looked like squatty, short, and weird looking, or some variation that just made it look really weird. And not even like cartoonishly fun, just weird. You guys will have to let me know what you think of the logo. Like I said, it's kind of sort of a work in progress. Not really. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out so far. But there is a good chance that I might tweak it a little. So, I don't know. We'll see. Just depends upon how brave I feel messing with what I think is good enough. Let's see how many miles we're at now. 132. At least according to that anyway. That first level. That says 134 on the bottom, so yeah, we'll go with 134. So by the end of this whole round trip, it should be closer to a little over 150, I think. Which is pretty good. You ever have one of those days when you're at work and you feel like your coworkers, like not your immediate coworkers, like your teammates, but like people that you have to work with that you don't necessarily work with all the time. And in general, they're like decent people and they're okay and you don't have any issues with them. But then you have like these other people that, or maybe even the same people that I'm referencing, that just get like upset for like no reason at everybody else, and then they just start like losing their shit. I had one of those instances here the other day, and I think it genuinely just kind of caught me and the rest of my team off guard, because we all kind of were looking at each other like, dude, what the hell? Especially on a, like, you know, a good day in general. It wasn't limited to just one person. It was a couple people that were just like spun up to 11 for some reason. I don't know why. None of us really do. And it seems to be like a trend among the other teams too, because everybody's kind of mentioned it before, and now all of a sudden it's happening and you're like, what, why is this happening? This just seems silly. Whenever you encounter something like that, it's weird to try and deal with it, because you're not really quite sure if it's you that did something, or if they just are having a bad day in general, or if they have like some home life problems, or people just, they're having issues, I guess. What they could do, just had a wasp try to attack me. I'm not a flower, leave me alone. What they should do is they should just like party it up and dance. Life is too short to be upset for long periods of time. Need to just let things roll off your back like a duck and keep swimming. Especially if you're taking it out on other people. That's not okay. The shitty part about it too is the dude didn't even like really, you know, acknowledge it or apologize for it. I don't know, maybe he needs time. All right, dudes, gonna pop into service. Hopefully this doesn't take too awful long, and then hopefully we'll be back. It should be pretty quick. All right, dudes, welcome back. Inferno passed with flying colors. No issues to report. So the recall for the taillight module and all that jazz. Ooh, looky what's over there. Technica or an Evo? One of the two. Lamborghini. Passed with flying colors, no issues, thankfully. Ended up being about, I'd say probably an hour. Wasn't too bad. They had other bikes they were servicing, so. It's interesting, though, because I've been paying attention on the website for a little while now. And I also did a complete scan of the entire used and new section in the showroom. My old MV is nowhere to be found. So I don't know if they already had somebody lined up for one, or if somebody there picked it up that works there, or what. But like legitimately it's gone. It's either that or it's taking them forever to get that thing prepped to put it on sale. I don't know. You would have thought it would have been there by now and like set up and ready for display. I mean, it didn't need anything. So, I don't know. Whatever. Not my problem anymore. It is so nice out. Hard to believe it's going to go down into the 20s here in like a week. I'm having a hard time believing that almost. Like, everything that our Denver Front Range weather guy has been saying on social media, because a lot of us listen to him over the meteorologist in this town. He tends to be more accurate. And he's been accurate pretty much with all of his calls except for this last storm, and even he admitted this last storm kicked his ass. And I don't blame him. There was a lot of different model data on it. This last storm just couldn't figure out what it wanted to do with its life. But regardless, he's been pretty right on the money for the most part for a lot of different weather calls that he's made. And when he's saying that it's going to be like down to the 20s next week, well, not like this upcoming week, but the week after, I kind of sort of believe him, but at the same time, it's also a little early to be calling that out. hopefully there's some extra riding days here in the next week or so. It sounds like maybe Monday might be like it is today, and if it is, I'm taking full advantage of it. Yeah, so this right here, hovering around 3,000 RPM, you can definitely tell the fueling down low just needs some love. So yeah, as soon as we hit 600 miles, I'm definitely doing the BT Moto tune at a minimum. I was going to go up map through Gabbro and all that, but I don't know. There was some controversy that got opened up here not that long ago. And you guys can find the video. It's actually, it's fairly new. It's only maybe a week old. But this guy who has a 26 RSV4 factory, he installed an upmap T800 with a Gabbro tune. And mind you, it was, still supposedly like a test tune, because he's still working on the programming for the US bikes apparently. But he was having nothing but problems with it, and it was just constantly having like issues. It seemed to me like this guy, I don't even remember his name, unfortunately. I don't think it's Ant-Man Moto, but it's one of the dudes similar to him. He was having issues just getting the bike to run right. It was breaking up bad. He went back and forth with Gabbro for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, just trying to resolve his tune issues, providing him info and trying to do all these like checks and blah, blah, blah. And everything was fine on the bike. It was the tune itself that was fucking wrong, like it was corrupted or something. Because it was basically just causing a massive misfire. So anyway, long story short, he tried to talk about this issue with the Aprilia owners, RSV4 owners, or something like that. And I guess the group that he was a part of, where he posted all this like feedback, because he finally just, gave up on Gabbro and went to BT Moto. And BT Moto literally sent him his tune and his flasher module and everything for free just because he felt bad for this guy going through this shit, which was a super cool move of him. Like, way to stand up for the community. That's the kind of shit that literally concretes you as a badass dude. Taking care of this niche that we call motorcycling. He gives feedback to the community going like, look, this is my experience with him and how difficult he was to work with and so on and so forth. He got banned almost immediately from the group for it. Like, it was wild. I'd never seen anything like it. I don't know if like Gabbro was an admin or if the admins are like good friends with him or what, but legitimately, rather than like letting the community see this and making their own judgment, he just straight up had like his information deleted and everything. And I guess the community stood up for him and was like, dude, what the fuck? Where'd he go? We want to ask him more questions and figure out what the hell happened. So they reinstated him. And he was allowed to actually talk about his experience, through the group. And obviously, like, the whole video explaining all this is on YouTube, on his channel. You can search it up. It's like 26 Aprilia tuning nightmare or something along those lines. If I find it, I'll throw the title up or something so you can go look at it. Brentoon earned some serious kudos and bonus points from the community and me and pretty much everybody, just because, he did the right thing and took care of this guy, which, when you dump like $800 on a product and it just straight up doesn't work, and then you have like no recourse for like getting your money back, that's a huge fail. So anyway, I'll post up the details if I can find it, and you guys can go be the judge for yourself. I am just grateful that there is still such a thing as some, not chivalry, but like decency in the community that you have businesses like this that will literally take care of other people when they get screwed. It's awesome to see. I don't know if Gabbro is really a bad person per se. Just based off of this one experience, it's hard to judge because, I don't really know his background or anything too awful well. All I do know is that AF1, Aprilia Special Parts, Gabbro, they all are very close-knit and, work together a lot to try and resolve tuning-related problems and, just trying to unlock a bunch of different things. So it's just kind of weird and hard to wrap my head around the fact that one guy just got so completely screwed like this. There would have to be at least a couple others for him to be a bad person. And I'm not saying the guy with the RSV4 is the problem here. I'm saying just Gabbro in general. Granted, he's out in Italy, and it's harder to communicate with somebody from the States to Italy, and catch them in a limited time window, just from, the distance aspect and the time zone differences. But it's wild to me that it gets to this stage where, you have a black mark that's this loaded with information and, traceable. Legitimately, he posted up all the conversations and everything with a full description of the events, and he wasn't even looking for any recognition for it or anything like that. He was just trying to warn everybody else, look, you might like Gabbro, and Gabbro might be a nice guy, and you might have no problems at all, but just FYI, this is what happened to me. I'm not looking to benefit off of it. I just want people to know that, it's a possibility this could happen to you, and to be careful. So from that aspect, made me think about it a little bit more, and I was like, okay, well, maybe BT is the way to go, Brentoon. And sure enough, Brentoon's managed to figure out pretty much all the same tuning secrets and everything on the US bikes as Gabbro's managed to figure out on the Euro bikes. So the long-winded version of what I'm trying to say is Brentoon is definitely the way to go if you're stateside, at least in my opinion. Because it seems to me like Gabbro's having issues trying to make sure that the code and the software and everything is working properly for the USDM bikes. Because he doesn't have one to work on hand, from my understanding. He's just gathering data from US bikes that are basically sending him files via email or whatever, or Dropbox or whatever they're doing. And it's more or less ending badly as a result. There's not enough development happening in a short period of time. It's still too beta testy, too prototype-ish. Whereas BT, they're based here. They can figure out all the software idiosyncrasies with the US bikes because they actually have no shit USDM bikes to work with. That car looks eerily similar to my old one. That Corvette up there. I know it's not the same car because the car that I sold, that ended up going up to North Dakota, if you can believe it or not. The guy that bought it had 3 other Corvettes. Had basically one from C3, C4, C5, and then the C6 generation. He was building a collection of Corvettes up in North Dakota, and I'm like, dude, how often do you actually get to drive these? You're all the way up there next to frickin' Canada, for crying out loud, one of the snowiest states in the Union. And I can tell you the wind is absolutely picking up and the temperature is dropping. That next little cold front thing that we're getting is 100% coming in. So this ride is definitely getting cut short because it is not comfortable like it was when I left earlier today. Yeah, it looks similar, but it's not my car. Because mine had Vertini wheels on it. It had a very similar aero package, but it had Bertini wheels on it and a couple other appearance differences, including the fact that it was on coilovers. Stock Corvette suspension, I don't care what it is, if it's like a frickin' Z06 or whatever. If it's not a C8, it's all on frickin' leaf springs and, you know, dampers, which, to their credit, do an incredible job, but on like a base model or anything like that, forget it. Like, the car just feels like it's a frickin' waterbed. It's so soft. You gotta really dial those things in to get any real performance out of the suspension. Like, it doesn't have to be stiff enough to rattle your teeth out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, it shouldn't literally ride like a waterbed from the 70s. That's insane. And that was the problem with the one that I had initially, is like it was on that archaic frickin' leaf spring suspension and damper setup. Was a non-Z51, and it literally felt like a waterbed. Like, anytime you got up near the triple digits, it just felt like it was floating. It was such an uncanny and honestly scary experience. So I threw the coilovers on there, and it made a massive difference. So much better. I've had so many damn performance cars now, like, I'm amazed that I remember half the stuff I remember. But I gotta be honest, none of them, and I mean none of them, can compare to this bike. None of them. As much as I loved my GTR, for instance, I prefer this. I really do. The GTR, it's good in its own way, but like, if I had to pick one or the other in terms of what I'd actually like to drive on a nice day and have fun with, this beats it hands down. Not even a question. I loved my GTR, don't get me wrong, but there is something to be said about riding a bike, especially one that's this powerful, this comfortable, and this capable. It's just incomparable to anything that you can do on four wheels, within reason. That is the one caveat I will say, is within reason, because if you get up to a certain stage of money, obviously you're basically getting into a vehicle that's more or less like a frickin' race car for the street, and at that point, then you're like, okay, this is some serious shit. But anyway, thanks for coming along with me, dudes. This is a kind of another short video. We're just trying to take advantage of every good weather opportunity we get. They're fewer and further between nowadays, so anything we can get, we'll take it. I'm just not loving the fact that it's windy and cold. Thanks for hanging out. I will catch you next time, dudes.